Winter's rolling in, the temperature's really dropping fast. So we know what that means. Everybody's going to be bringing their projects inside. Maybe most of you already have it apart. But anyways, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody that's going to be painting their car over the wintertime. Maybe it's somebody, like a DIYer or somebody helping another person. But I promise you, every time when I used to work in this field, every season, there was tons of questions. And I just want to kind of go through. So I'm going to make these one video at a time. I really want to break these down. And today I want to talk about primers. This is the most important part. I don't care what anybody says. This is the most important thing. This stuff costs a lot of money. And I'm just talking about just a gallon of this and a gallon of that. And I was painting cars for people. Just clear alone was almost $1,000. A gallon of clear doesn't go very, very far. You know what I'm saying? So when you're painting little pieces of this, little pieces of that, and this and this and this, you need to know what you're doing. You need to plan your project out, and you need to be able to have a roadmap. Primer is the most important thing because whatever you spray on top of it will come off if the foundation is not laid correctly. So all that could go to, could be for nothing. And today, for example, I'm going to be using Martin Sr. because that's what I'm most familiar with. I get it. Look, a lot of people are PPG through and through. I get it. They have an awesome color library, color matching library, and they got good customer service. Every paint line's got their strong suit, but Martin Sr. has hands down the best primers that I've seen, period. Different types of primer are going to have different strong suits, and pretty much it's only going to cover like a couple categories. So there's really only like 4 types. So let's go through. I'm going to say what everybody knows. Well, second most, self-etching primer. Self-etching primer is super, super common because it's low cost and it's a lot more common to use. It's a lot more speedy to use. It doesn't have the compatibility problems with other primers. As long as you stay within a certain paint system and you follow the PDS, the product data sheets, you'll have no problem with any primer system that you choose. But anyways, everybody knows self-etch. You can get it in, quart, gallon, or a rattle can. Super convenient, super common. Next is going to be epoxy primer. Where the strong suit of epoxy primer is going to be that the resin binding it together is going to be, yes, you can think of it more like a glue, but it's going to be tight enough to where you're not going to get what they call dieback. So you can use a sealer system, but you don't have to. Now, this rule also applies with all other primers, I know, but because epoxy primer, that resin that is binding everything together is so tight that it has a higher chance of acting as a natural barrier. So it kind of saves you money that you don't have to use a sealer. You can if you want. I would recommend a sealer with every product, but that's why everybody goes with it. It's got a high talc content and it's high building. So therefore, it's easy to sand once it's fully cured. It does kind of tend to shrink over time. I mean, let's face it. Because it's less porous, that resin I was talking about is less porous. Oxygen can't get through it as much. I'll say that. But the corrosion protection properties really aren't as good as dividing your acid, corrosion, i.e. corrosion protection, and then primer. So it's kind of like, a shampoo. It's conditioner and shampoo all in one. It's a cost savings. Sometimes it's a time savings. Like house color these days, I'll just block my face. But for those of you that want, you can tint it. You can tint the epoxy primer to match the undercoat. Now they do have factory pack color options. That's the part number. Just pause the screen. That's the part number. Usually wherever you'll find a dealer. Go online, housecolor.com, find a dealer. Wherever they sell this stuff, they will have that part number to that chip sheet, and they're usually free. It's the kind of the downfall of epoxy primer is I don't believe in the corrosion protection which it stores. Now there's one primer that nobody really talks about or really knows about. When I was coming up in the paint scene now, they were calling it vinyl wash primer. Now it looks like they're just calling it wash primer, but this stuff is stupid good. I mean, it is strong, strong, strong. It used to be where the EPA wasn't really as strict as it is. These guys, they got a chokehold on everything, trust me. But as far as like the VOC goes, now if you're a DIYer and you're at home and you don't have to worry about this, typically check your local laws. But as a hobbyist, I know here in Iowa, the law says per calendar year, I can do 2 complete cars. So that's the frame, the body, everything pertaining to one car. I can do 2 complete cars and I don't have to worry about the VOCs. VOCs is kind of like emissions out of a tailpipe in a car. It stands for volatile organic compounds, and it's really just metal in the air is what they're worried about. It's like nickel, chromium. There's a whole list. You just Google it, and but as a hobbyist, no, you don't have to worry about that. But double check with your local state laws. And then finally, you're going to have your polyester primers or your urethane primers. And I'm kind of combining these two together because they're doing the same thing, but it's just a different binding resin. But they essentially do the same thing. Now, polyester resins, they're a lot older. Anything that's going to be like a 50-to-1 mix ratio or like that liquid fiberglass resin hardener, that's going to be anything that falls in the polyester primer. This stuff is awesome. I used it on old hot rods simply because like Featherfill G2, that stuff does not shrink. I held onto a couple pieces for a couple years because I sprayed a test panel. It does not shrink. It does not move. Once you spray it, it locks in. You can sand it, and sand scratches do not come back. That stuff's amazing, and it builds. Or any cheap paint gun, the cheapest paint gun you can get, buy like a 2.0 or a 2.2 tip. Just freaking hose that stuff on, and yeah, they used to call it sprayable mud. Because every single primer I come across, I had speculation of sand scratch swelling, shrinking, and that was the only primer that I really found. Urethane is the same thing, but urethane's really cool because urethane allows you to, now that, the mixing bank and all the toners and everything are urethane, as far as like the base coat and the clear coat, you can actually do what they call like a tenable. Now I'll bring this in. Like I said, I'm using Martin Sr. as an instant today, but I'll bring them in. Boom. Here is their tenable primers. Make it a little bit bigger for you guys because I know it's going to be hard to see. And if we go to product data sheets, you can click on the SDS, stands for safety data sheets. That's if you get stuff in your eye and you need to, know how to take care of it, or, what it's going to do, or anything safety related. Environmental data sheets, that's the EDS. Those of you that know about them, the only time you really need those is when like a fire marshal or somebody inspectors coming around to but it's good to know what they are and where to get them. So anyways, we click over to the product safety data sheets, the tint prime. These things are awesome. I'm going to show you guys. It tells you everything. What reducer to use on what temperature range. Oh, sorry. As far as, the appropriate reducers, as far as heat, speed. These product data sheets are awesome. This is the one thing I love about Martin Sr. And it kind of gives you like additional notes. If you just read through this stuff, read through it before you spray any of it or mix any of it, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. But they do come, like I said, with 27 colors. And the 27 colors, the advantage of that is the closer you can get to the base coat color, your final, like say if you have a red Corvette. Okay, that torch red Corvette, the closer you can get to that torch red Corvette, if you have a rock chip, you won't even notice it. Because normally when you have like gray primer underneath or like a black or white primer, you know what I'm saying? Typically some of the cheaper primers will have like grayscale, or the cheap primer, you just get like one color. Also, the closer you can get in priming, typically the less base coat or the color that you're going to need. But Napa deals this stuff. If you go to like a Napa store and you give them like a sample, like usually people take off like their gas lid, they'll match it for you, and you can match up a gallon of this primer and you'll always have it on hand, and it's convertible. So you can convert it to a sealer too. You just add like another resin in there. It makes it more of a barrier coat, so that way oxygen, moisture, and everything can't get through. So it's a really good system. Costs a little bit of money, but what doesn't? And this stuff's got an awesome warranty to it. The stuff flexes. I've never seen any primer that flexes like this stuff and hangs on like this stuff does. A lot of people like to take a little, something of this paint company, something of that paint company, and another thing of another paint company, and then they make their own cocktail. Most of the time it works. Some of the time it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you're not going to get any help, and you spent all that money on everything. So that's why I'm saying just stick with one paint system. I promise you're going to have better results that way. Vinyl wash primer. I think I do have it pulled up here. Let me just add this in. A lot of people are like, vinyl wash. A lot of shops don't even know. Let's get in here and let's talk about vinyl wash primer. It is a premium self-etching, LCF, lead chromate free wash primer. Provides the highest quality performance of direct till and metal adhesion. I'm telling you, this stuff is awesome. I've heard stories of guys, they got a hold of a scrap metal, but they didn't have like space in their shop. Sprayed 2 coats on this, and they just leaned it against the garage outside. 10 years later, no rust, nothing. This stuff is awesome. Sometimes some of these galvanized steels parts, it's hard to get primers to stick to. You have to prep them a certain way. It used to be a 1-to-1, but since they come back with this, if you can find the 1-to-1 stuff, that is the good stuff, because it's got the nickel and the mag, it's got all those metals in there. Again, if you run through the safety data sheet, it'll run you through everything. Here you go. This is when you know you're getting the good stuff, guys. Yeah, because you're going to have one acid part and then one body part, which is like the resin, the binder, the body, I guess you want to call it. But when both of them have got that hazard, yeah, you're getting the good stuff, fellas. A lot of people think that, simply because this is going to be like a toy, because I'm assuming if it's like a hot rod or something, I wouldn't necessarily take I'm only going to drive it when it's nice out. I would definitely steer you towards separating the acid, i.e. corrosion protection, and primer. Now, whether you go with the polyester, urethane, or whatever you're spraying, whether it's plastic parts or whether it's metal parts, or you know what I'm saying, that's going to be on your determination. But if you think that you can get by with this as a precautionary, go one step higher. That's always been my approach, and it's paid off. One guy told me a long time ago, quality doesn't cost, it pays. And yeah, it's expensive up front, but I'm telling you, the premium stuff has so many dividends that it pays on the back end. Keep that in mind. Quality doesn't cost, it pays. So for corrosion protection, epoxy is going to be at the bottom. You're going to have self-etching on top of that. And then you're going to have the vinyl wash primer or wash primer. For flexibility, I'm going to say at the bottom is going to be, your cheaper urethanes. Now, your premium urethane, like the Martin Senior, I would put at the top. That one's kind of funky. It's a split. But I'm going to say your cheaper urethane primer is going to be at the bottom. Epoxy primer is going to be like mid-tier. And then I'm going to say your upper echelon urethanes are going to be the best. For building and not shrinking, none of them. You just need the polyester primer. That's the only time I would use polyester primer, and I would only use it on metal parts only. And yes, I would recommend that you seal everything. Or the only one that I would trust to just spray base coat right on top of would be epoxy primer. I hope that helped, guys. Like I said, comments, drop them below. Like the video. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all your interaction. You guys are awesome. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Take care. See you on the next one.